Tying knots, the bane of my existence. So I was watching a guy yesterday on Bertaria Times talk about knot tying. He's going to offer a knot tying YouTube channel. I emailed where I put a comment in there. I said, man, knots, it makes me shudder. I'm sure I've shared this story with you before, but if not, I'm going to share it to you. So back in 1990, I went to Ranger School. And if you ask me how I made it to Ranger School, I don't know. It's nuts. I did pre-Ranger in 10th Mountain Division. I don't know. I passed, but I did. And next thing I know, I'm shipping off to Fort Benning for Ranger School. And I was like, dude. So I got recycled. I was class 9-90. Not once, but twice. In Fort Benning in 1990. I turned 20 down there, as a matter of fact. So I went in when I was 19. I went to Benning phase twice because I got recycled because I was able to pass the night land nav, which a lot of people couldn't. I did. I was surprised by that. I guess I was pretty good with a compass. But anyway, so we get to the mountain phase, and the mountain phase is when you got to tie knots and do all this rappelling and all this stuff. And dude, I don't like heights as it is. But you go, it's right here in Dahlonega. In fact, when we moved here, I took my wife and kids up to Dahlonega, and I actually got a chance to go onto that. And there's this mountain, it's just this cliff. And for you guys who like to rappel and jump and all this stuff, this is nothing to you. But man, this scared the living bejesus out of me. And you got to rappel down this cliff, and it's like wet, and you got to do it with some guy on your back. Even out, and I was like, dude, I can't even do it. Then you got to go up to literally some mountain and do it. I was like, it scared me to death. And I said, I couldn't do it, man. I knew I was going to take a hit right there. I said, I can't. Anyway, so you have to tie this knot like a safety seat that you use to rappel. And I was like, dude, my thing is all jacked up. You talk about white trash knot tying, this is me. Hell, it's probably not white trash. Probably ties good knots. I was like, my stuff looks like. I don't know what it looks like. And anyway, I could never pass a knot tying section because I wasn't good at it. And I never practiced. I wasn't good anyway. But I'll never forget the RI, the ranger instructor. He said, you tied it, at the top of this mountain, this cliff, I'll never forget, I had this lieutenant. This is the guy who shot me in the ear, by the way, with a blank, which is one of the reasons I don't hear very well. And I don't know if he did deliberate or not. I think he was a cluster just like me, actually. I don't think he was a good soldier in terms of what they were looking for. Either was I, so we were good together, if that makes sense. He was actually a good guy, but he's just kind of like me. He's just kind of like, dude, what are we doing? Anyway, so he had to get on my back. It's like you could see the fear in my eyes, and you can see the RI says, you tied it, you ride it. Literally, your life is at stake. Your life is at stake. And I was like, and he's like, dude, are you, And what you got to do is you got to go in L shape, and you're perpendicular to the ground. That's what it is. You got to have your butt is perpendicular to the ground, and you are in L shape. It's freaking scary, man. It is scary. And you got this dude it's on your back, and it's like I remember it being wet and just straight down, and I don't know, 30 feet or something like that. I don't know. It was enough to scare the living bejesus out of you. And I will never forget. And then we just basically, whoa! I was able to slow it down, but there's, like you see these old movies where they're bouncing off the cliff. I wasn't able to do that. I was bouncing, and I was just going. This guy's like, ah! And I was able to slow it down, but I think I was able to stop it for a second, but not, man, we just landed, and he fell on me, and the whole thing was just nuts. I'll never forget that, though. That RI said, you tied it, you ride it. Anyway, so I got recycled again in mountain phase, and I remember going through the that part again where you got to. Look, I was cock strong. I carried the M60. I carried all the freaking spare bell, the tripod. I carried all the 7.62. I was just a freaking a donkey. So all the soldiers always gave me good peer reviews because I was, they said, hey, just give it to Scanlon because leading somebody through the woods or the jungles or whatever. Hell no, I'm not gonna do that, but I can carry stuff. I can dig ditches. And I'll do what I'm told. But anyway, so I'm in my 4th class now. So this is in September of 90. My class was 990. I don't know if that was when you're supposed to graduate. I'm still in the 2nd phase. And I'm going through the mountain phase again, and it sucks, dude. And I'm just like this. And then I said, okay, I'm going to give it one more shot. And we're going back into the rappel phase. I'll never forget, we're in Dahlonega, and we just got our blueberry pancakes, which is like the thing up there where you're like, oh my, because you don't eat in Ranger School, you don't sleep, but you get blueberry pancakes up in mountain phase. And I was like, this is good. But then we said, okay, now we're going back to the rappel thing. And I said, I don't have it in me, man. And I said, they don't do a ringing the bell like they do in Navy SEALs. I just said, I'm done. I don't have it in me anymore. And they said, you sure scan't, or so, whatever they called you. I don't know what they called you. You have an LOM, lack of motivation. You're an LOM. And they like make fun of you from there. I said, dude, do you think I care now? You're right. I don't care. And LOM is what I got, which means I can never go back to Ranger School. I said, until I can learn how to rappel and tie a knot, I'm never going back. Because I literally felt like my life was at stake. And I literally said, I'm going to kill somebody. I can kill myself not rappelling. But, man, I remember, actually, it's funny, too, because in mountains, one time you do get a little bit of downtime. It was weird. I'm not sure exactly why. Not much, but I took that downtime and I practiced tying those knots. And I couldn't time to say, I mean, it's weird. I practice. I say, I just couldn't get it. It's the strangest thing, man. I couldn't, I'd be out there at, basically as it's getting dark and everyone else is smoking, joking. I'm trying to practice tying these knots. I could not get it. It's the strangest thing. Anyway, so I emailed this guy from Barataria Times. I said, hey, I forgot his name. I said, dude, how about when you're putting a Christmas tree on your minivan, taking it home, like you go to Home Depot, or you go to a place where you chop down a Christmas tree, what kind of knot do you tie so it's taut and it doesn't go flat, not a lot of slack where the tree falls off? Like, even that has always been, like, oh, it makes me nervous. Like, every time you go up there and say, I just wrap that sucker around, I freaking tie 8,000 different square knots, and I'm like, it takes me forever to untie, but it's like, that sucker isn't going off. But you see some of these guys, they tie these knots, you're like, how'd you do that, man? It's like all tight, it's all no slack, and they pull, it's done. Oh my goodness. I was like, how do you do that? I mean, I remember I didn't make it to Florida. Florida, they had all these freaking, these rope bridges and stuff. And I was like, I was like, how do you? I don't even know how you do that. Like, I can't even picture it in my head how they do that. It's nuts when you can learn how to tie knots, man. You got a lot of skill set. Anyway, learning how to tie knots is a wonderful skill set. So if you can like go to Boy Scouts or something, they're probably not Boy Scouts anymore because it's they're nuts. But if you can learn how to tie knots as a young man, or hell, even a young lady, that's a good skill set to have. I never had it, and it's like one of those things that intimidates me. All right, tie this knot. You're like, huh? Tie this butterfly knot, or tie this kind of knot, or that kind. I'm like, can I tie a square knot? Can I tie like a knot like I tie my tennis shoes? All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys.